Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we have answers for you. Answers from the questions you posed to us.
42.
42?
That's the answer.
Oh,
to life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, thanks for all the fish. Let's go.
All right, you guys, we put out there on all our different social media channels to ask us questions, and we will answer whatever you guys ask. So we've got some fun ones here. Let's go through them. All right, I'll start off. This is from Matthew from Room 51. Shout out to Room 51. Go check them out if you haven't already. Matthew says, what made you decide to go full force into content creation?
This makes me laugh. It just really does, because when we first started making videos back in like 2018, right? We didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell our family. Like, we were making, oh God, I don't know how many videos we made before we even told people that this was something we were doing. So that's just
at least a year.
Yeah. So it's just funny to think that. And then, yeah, obviously we went full force into it. You know, we made a really conscious decision. That was probably in the summer or fall of 2019 when we were like,
we're going to buy some real equipment. We're going to use some real editing software. We're going to use some real lighting and all that kinds of things.
We're just going to try.
We're going to try. And and have some fun with it. But then also on top of that, the events that happened in 2020, really, shook my faith in the 9 to 5, or more likely in my case, like the 6 to 6 workday, made me want to kind of phase myself out from that and do something that I'm passionate about and
good at. Ryan's great at this, guys.
Well, thank you. Hopefully you agree, but if not, that's fine too. I just have a great time doing this. It's something that we can do as a family, and all have a great time doing it, and be something we're passionate about, and be something we can use our creative side of our brain.
Yeah.
Which was something that we've been kind of suppressing for too long.
Yeah. So I guess the answer, what made you decide to go full force, is because we liked it, we wanted to spend time together, and we wanted to work you away from that type of work situation.
Yeah.
All right, so Lexi and Brandon from All Aboard Gamer.
All aboard!
Okay, go find them, because they are adorable. They want to know, they want to know that we review already released games, more or less. Do we prefer doing that, like prototypes and Kickstarters, or do we prefer games that have already been released? You seem to have a nice mix. Thank you. That's on purpose. So which do you prefer from a content creation standpoint?
I love this question because, I love seeing games start as something very, very small and develop into something that's actually a product that you can buy and it's in your hands. So seeing a prototype turn it into a pre-release turn into a full release is just a really fun process, and being at any level involved in that process is just so much fun.
Yeah.
So I like doing those things. It's very satisfying as a gamer. Sometimes it's a little questionable as a content creator, though, because it's like you never know how they're going to be received. The game that we talk about in prototype form might be very different than what's released, and maybe it's maybe it doesn't get released at all. We've had a couple of those happen where we've done a video on a game, and then it never actually
comes to fruition.
Yeah, but it wasn't backed on Kickstarter fully. Or we've had situations...
Or it's a different name when it comes out. And so when people look for it, they won't see our video.
So from a content creation standpoint, it's also very satisfying to have a great game. It's already out there. People can buy it. It's reliable. Yeah. And you are get a chance to talk about it and then have a dialogue with people who've also played it. So both things are rewarding. Yeah. I like, as a gamer, I think I prefer doing the things that are pre-releases. And as a content creator, I think I prefer doing regular release games.
Yeah, mine's like neither, right? Because
I hate talking about games. It's
we've
terrible.
talked about this before, but like my passion is for forever and always. Ryan and I, at least part of our stuff, I always want us to be able to do at least some content towards small publishers, because it was small publishers who partnered with us when we are such a small channel and weren't telling anybody about our channel, that they were the ones that were willing to partner with us. And so I like seeing somebody that has 1, 2, 3 employees, and maybe not even employees, be able to see their dream come to life, whether it's something that's already been out there and we get to help push that, or whether, like Ryan said, it's from that beginning to end. But I guess it's more like I want to make sure that we never stop doing that.
Yeah. All right, so Dustin Mass has a couple questions here. His first one says, how old were your daughters when you first started playing games with them?
We introduced games to our daughters at the same age. It took with one and it didn't take with the other.
And we have a 4-year-old, by the way, and we have an 8-year-old currently.
Yes. So we introduced them to games when they are both a year and a half. And our eldest took to it right away. And then our youngest did not take to it. So I think we didn't even try again for like another
year or so at least.
Yeah.
Just keeping them being involved around games was really fun to see, just them play with components and things like that. Yeah. Never while we were playing games, we were kind of strict about that.
We were very strict about that. They understood that when something was on the table, like
it's part of a game that those people are playing.
Yeah, exactly.
But games like Go Away Monster, that was a fantastic game to play with an 18-month-old. It teaches really, really simple things that you wouldn't even think of as teaching a gamer. Like, where normally you're like, okay, well, let's talk about what mechanics to teach you.
Yeah.
As far as card drafting or what, no, let's start with the basics.
Taking your
turn.
Yeah.
How to roll the dice.
Me taking my turn and you waiting,
being patient,
for me to take my turn.
Cooperation, sharing, all those things that 18-month-olds need to learn, and eventually, and I feel like some people don't even learn them ever. So playing those very, very simple cooperative games were crucial to the development of our kids, I think, in their career as gamers as well.
Yeah.
And then I know like Peaceful Kingdom had some fantastic games like Acorn Soup. What was another one? Special Seek Treehouse,
Dinosaur Escape.
Yeah, those are just really great games that had a cooperative nature to them, that we could sit down together.
Duck Dance.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. Get actually some moving. So those are some games that we would suggest for someone who is under the age of 4.
It was very child-led, though. Like, there was a lot of games when they were younger that we would start and we just didn't finish.
Yeah.
Like, even if the gameplay was just 10 minutes, if after 5 minutes they were over it, that's fine. Like, I remember there was this course probably like 3 years ago between a combination of maybe 3 or 4 months where I would start with our youngest playing Orchard, and we would maybe go
start off really exciting.
Yeah, it would start off great, but then we'd only get through about a quarter of the game, and she was done. And so, like, because I want her to like gaming, I'm not going to be like, no, we have to finish this. So I just packed it up, and I would ask her, like, are you done? She'd be like, I'm done. And I'd pack it up and be very intentional about we put all our pieces away, stuff like that. But after 3 or 4 months, we could finish an entire game together. Yeah. Because it was very child-led.
Yes. All right. And then he's got another question for us.
This is great. How did you both start getting into board gaming? Did you start together before we met, or did one of us get the other one into board gaming?
This is a funny, nuanced question because there's a lot of answers.
Yeah.
So I'd say independently, both of our families were gamers. We didn't know it. There was no label for it back then.
Yeah.
But both our families independently loved tabletop games, being around the table as a family playing games. Yeah. So playing trick-taking games like euchre, spades, hearts, by yourself playing Free Cell and Klondike and all those things, Spider Solitaire. And then family game night, we'd play Outburst or Monopoly or Mia Born or Racco, all those things, Masterpiece were some of our favorites. And Yahtzee, it turns out it holds up as a roll and write. I've seen worse roll and writes come out recently than I have seen Yahtzee. So having this culture of being around the table was true all the way from childhood for both of us. We just didn't know there was a thing around it.
Yeah.
So then, as we were getting together and dating, all those things, we started incorporating that into being our time together.
It was how Ryan tricked me to hang out with him. Hey, you want to play euchre? Want to play euchre? Yeah, sure. Let's play euchre. We should play euchre.
Which was brilliant on my part. I'm not a lot to look at, but gosh darn it, I'm a lot of fun to play games with. So that's how I'm going to win her over.
You're great to look at, too. I think
Thanks. So then from there, it took another turn. And now we're playing the games together.
Yeah.
And I started getting into these games that are great games that I didn't know were hobby games. I just know that they were some fun games that we were experiencing. Games like Power Grid, Carcassonne, Dominion, what else? Catan. And we played Killer Bunnies, we played Pokemon, we played Munchkin. All those really great kind of games that were coming out back then that we didn't know were part of a bigger board game hobby. And so, hilariously, we thought that like Killer Bunnies was like the end all be all at one point. We're like, oh yeah, we love Killer Bunnies. There's this thing called Gen Con. Let's go to this Gen Con, and then everyone will be playing Killer Bunnies there. And we can talk to other people who play Killer Bunnies.
This was in 2013.
Hilarious, isn't it? So we're like, wait, should we dress up as Killer Bunnies? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. I didn't go, but I remember Brian's going to tell you something. I remember him calling me, like talking to me about what he's about to tell you.
Yeah, so we get there. Killer Bunnies is 0.11 or 0.00001% of what Gen Con was. We did get to play with the designer, which was cool. But obviously that style of gameplay is kind of out of our repertoire. Being there at Gen Con, being surrounded by, 60,000 people, all like-minded people playing games. Yeah. Tons and tons of these great, unknown, unheard of games. It was so exciting. I was calling Bethany like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how many people were there, and you wouldn't believe the kinds of games they had. Guess what? We're going to start buying a whole bunch of fun games. And so, yeah, we were all on board as soon as that Gen Con came back and started our small collection after that.
Yeah, and I was like, I liked games because I like, you'll realize as we continue talking, we like not being around screens. We're like everybody else. We are around screens. I don't want you to like think that
we have a YouTube channel, obviously.
Come on, you're like, yeah, obviously. But we like that we have this outlet that isn't that, right? And I would get so overwhelmed whenever we had to learn a new game because I don't know why I would get overwhelmed by it. And do you remember our goal?
You had a goal you had set a couple of years ago.
So funny.
That it was like, I hate learning games.
But 2019, I think.
Yeah, I hate learning games, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn 12 new games this year. By the end of the year, I think we learned like over 50.
It was so silly. But here's the thing that I want to encourage you. If you like games, but learning mechanisms kind of like stress you out like they did me, once you learn about 100 games, you've been introduced to all the main mechanisms that you need to learn every game you need to know. So just like putting that out there.
Yeah, there's definitely some investment you have to make, but once you have made that investment, then you get to draw back from it. Then it's a lot easier to learn future games.
Oh yeah, so much so that sometimes I even take the rule book now. Doesn't happen a lot. In fact, hardly ever happens, but it has happened before where I have taught the family of the game wrong.
All right, so our next question comes from Jonna from One Pip Wonder. This is actually like a very long time ago. She asked this on one of our posts that we had made about our last time that we did this. So this is sorry to wait so long, but also go check out One Pip Wonder if you haven't already. Our question is, do you still play disc golf? This is something that we had talked about previously, and we used to do a whole lot of. So do we still play disc golf?
We do, not often. But we do.
I love playing disc golf. It is one of my favorite outdoor activities. I do have an ankle injury, so I can only do like one course at a time. I used to be able to do like a whole day of like playing 4 courses, which is really, really fun and fantastic for my mental and physical health. But now I'm limited to one at a time.
Did you hear about what Stonemeyer did?
I saw their April Fool's joke. But it's not really a joke either. They actually made legitimate discs.
Too. Yeah, I heard they sold out on everything.
I wanted one, and as soon as I saw it was an option, Stonemeyer Games, James Stegmeyer, the owner, is a disc golfer, and so he made some discs for April Fool's Day. But actually really
made them.
So that was really cool. So another fun way that those two are two hobbies of ours merge, which is great.
Yeah.
All right, you do the next one.
All right, so Brian Thompson asks, and this was also on that same video so this is over a year old. He probably doesn't even remember that he asked us this, but...
Or he's like been harboring this, like, when are they going to answer that?
He asks, are we ever going to review Euchre one day?
Yeah, no, maybe.
We did do our top 10 favorite card games.
Yeah, classic card games, which it was very high for both of us.
Yes, so check out that video.
Yes, as a review, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, we like Euchre.
There it is, we just reviewed Euchre.
It's great.
Will we do it as an actual review? Only if we get very, very desperate for content.
Yeah.
Or April Fool's Day.
Or if we ever figure out how to do stuff live, that would be really fun.
To play some euchre, yeah, live.
Yeah, just like, yeah, it'd be great. All sorts of like the weird rules that people come up with for euchre.
I love it. All right, next question comes from Natalie Schneckloth. Is there a game where one of you really enjoys, the other one doesn't? And then do you ever compromise and still play it together or not at all?
Yeah.
All right, so what's a game that I love that you don't?
So if you've watched our channel for any length of time, you probably know it is Agricola.
Yeah?
Even though I was actually thinking about it because there's like a 15th anniversary edition coming out, and I was like, that'd be a great Father's Day present for Ryan because we do play games that the other person doesn't like on special occasions like Father's Day or birthday or something like that. Luckily, for Ryan, he played a lot of Agricola on Bradajou.
Bradajou, which is like an online
Yeah.
A gaming site where you can play a whole bunch of cool games, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
So I
So
get
you
my
got your
fix
fix.
there.
Yeah.
I do love it in person. All games in person, better than digitally, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
And
Are
then-
there any games that I like that you're like lukewarm on? Because I'm the one that dislikes games. You just don't love them.
That is weird. I do generally like everything. It probably makes me a bad reviewer, or maybe not. I don't know. But I see the good in all games.
Yay, game! Yay, game!
Games in
and
general.
I'm like, get it out of here!
If there's a game and people are playing it and having a good time, gaming has won, and so I enjoy that a lot. Is there a game I don't like that you do? One that comes to mind is a game called Lanterns.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it just didn't click with me. It's a simple tile-laying game. Everyone's getting resources and spending them in order to fulfill these little order cards. And I just don't like it. It doesn't click with me. It doesn't leave me satisfied in any way.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it either. I'll still play it. It's just, I don't want it.
Here's another really funny thing about Agricola. I feel like if I had learned that game now, I would enjoy it. But because I learned it when, you get punished when you don't do things right. And
You gotta feed your people.
It's hard to build up. You need a ton of sets of all the stuff, but it's hard to get all the stuff. And now, like, I would find that challenge enjoyable, but learning it, and especially playing with Ryan and my brother Matt, who just, like, know it intimately, was not fun.
All right, then she's got one more question for us.
All right, and lastly, Natalie asks, other than games, what do you enjoy doing together or separately?
We love to laugh. So we talk.
Ryan's not being funny. He's totally serious right
Well,
now.
when we're laughing, hopefully I'm being funny.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we just like talking and just sitting and chilling and going for walks and talking and laughing.
Yeah. We're that old couple that go to bed together at the same time because we're usually carrying on a conversation as we're just like going up, getting ready to bed, and then talking while we're still in bed. We're those people, and you're like, gross. And I'm like, so what? But I also like nothing. So I enjoy making myself in silence a cup of tea. Like the whole thing, loose leaf tea, dryad tea is the bomb. So I like making myself a cup of loose leaf tea, brewing it, letting it steep, depending on what it is, 3 to 8 minutes, and then sitting there in a clean room, wherever that room is, in total silence while I drink this tea. And I am not being funny. I am totally serious. 1 year for Mother's Day, I made us all sit in the living room with the windows open, no music, anything, no talking for like 20 minutes.
It was an hour.
It was not. Ryan almost died.
It was the worst day of my life. I swear, I was looking at the clock. I was taking backwards. It was like, I can't do it. Like, have you ever heard of those, like, the sensory deprivation rooms?
Yes.
Where, like, they're pitch black. You're floating naked in, like, the saline water solution, and, like, you can hear, like, your own organs moving around because of how quiet it is, and eventually, like, it turns your mind to mush, and you're just like, hallucinating and stuff. That's what it was like. It was dreadful. I do not enjoy the quiet. I do not enjoy stillness and sitting and... Oh, it was awful. And the kids, of course, were squirming. And I was like, hey, if I have to put up with it, you got to put up with it.
All right, so let's carry on. Matthew Stroud asks, best and worst games you got from Kickstarter?
We are generally pretty selective when it comes to Kickstarter. We don't do a lot.
Very selective. 1 or 2 a year, max.
So I would say, as far as the best goes, my favorite one that we've gotten is Kanban EV.
Yeah.
That's just a
great
Vitala
one.
sort of game, super heavy, but at the same time really smooth. So really full of great decisions and really complex, but it doesn't feel like you're burning your brain. It feels like you're I don't know, it's just very smooth, and the components are phenomenal too, and the artwork.
And that like tray insert.
Yeah, the inserts, everything about this game was just unbelievable.
Wonderful.
Loved Kanban EV. That was probably my favorite Kickstarter purchase. What's your favorite? Or would you agree? Or
No. I mean that probably is my number one as well. My tied for second would probably be Sorcerer City or
Ooh, that's a good one
Chai.
too.
Yeah, Sorcerer City was super fun. That's just such a great.
So the components are like top notch.
Yeah, it's a deck building tile building.
Real time deck building, tile laying.
It's very unique. It's extremely unique. And what's like Ryan said, the components are awesome on that. And I don't feel like. Oh wait, hold on. I have a thought on this, but why don't you go first? Is there any that you really didn't like?
I don't think we've gotten a single Kickstarter that I didn't like. My least favorite was probably Battlefish, but even that was super
totally
fun.
good.
It was totally good. It was just not, out of the ones that we get are usually like these bigger A-list, titles with all the tricks and
The artwork on that one is super hilarious.
Yeah. So even though I'm saying it's the worst Kickstarter I've gotten, I still really, really liked it. It's just, like I said, we don't get that many, and the ones we do get, we're very selective on.
Okay, so there is a Kickstarter that I did not like at all. This is where 80 of you will unsubscribe from our channel.
Don't say it. Whatever it is, don't say it.
I even went on Working Beat today, and I was just looking at the reviews of this because they're all positive. I'm the only one who doesn't like that, and that is Return to Dark Tower. I just did not enjoy this game. And go check out our video on that if you want me to go into more details about that. The production quality was great. The app integration was great. I just did not enjoy the gameplay.
I think the thing you struggled with that game was the fact that so much was required of you and demanded of you, but it wasn't clear what it would be until it was upon you.
Yeah, it gave you an idea, but not
You had to succeed. You had to over prepare, in which case you were wasting actions, or you could risk it, in which case you'd get beat back, and it was.
But you and Matt loved it. You just had a great time.
I liked it a lot. I don't know if I loved it, but I did like it quite a bit, and. I'm
the only one. I have yet to hear anybody else say anything about this, so that's how I know I'm the outlier on that.
All right, so Matthew also asks us, what's the worst failed game and why?
Oh my gosh.
So Stefan Feld, probably collectively our favorite designer. Tons and tons of fantastic games, Trajan, Aquasphere, Amerigo. Gosh, I could go on and on about my favorites. We just backed a couple more on Kickstarter. Speaking of Kickstarter, the two city games that replaced Bruges and Macau. I want to say they're Amsterdam and something else. So tons and tons of great failed games. The worst. You guys want to know what the best ones are? What's our worst favorite game?
It's the same for both of us, and that ready.
Well, we're gonna say it together.
Yeah.
We can probably do it together because I know what it's going to be.
Yes. Ready.
The Castles of Burgundy, the card game. Castles of Burgundy, wonderful,
top notch,
great. Creme de la creme.
I would almost consider it a board game essential. Every collection has room for Castles of Burgundy in it. But not the card game.
The card game.
Every bonfire has room for that.
When you see a version of a game, like a dice version of a game or a card version of a bigger box game, there's three things that I would expect. A, that the price is considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
And it takes less time. And it's simpler. It takes up less space and has a cleaner rule set.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has the first one. It's cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It doesn't have the others. It has more complicated rules. It takes up more space up on the table. And it takes up more time to play. Everything about this game was confusing compared to the real game of Castles of Burgundy.
Castles of Burgundy was just so pure in its gameplay, so pure as a game that the card game just muddied what made that game so great. And the card game wasn't like the card game was awful.
It was pretty bad.
It just didn't need to exist.
Yeah.
You didn't need to make Castles of Burgundy into a card game. That didn't need to happen.
Which is funny because we just picked up the Broom Service card game. It's the same publisher and everything. It's not a failed game.
But I've not played Broom Service. So So
you're coming at it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
But I
have high hopes, but
I
also,
still wouldn't have liked Castles of Burgundy, the card game, even if...
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our least favorite failed game.
All right. So next we have Lindsay, and he wants to know, where are our kids when filming, when they're not being superheroes in our videos? And then also, where are they when you're playing non-kid games?
All right, so when we are recording, like right now, for instance, the kids are upstairs
Asleep.
and they're usually either record late at night after they're already asleep, or we, if it's nice out weather, send them outside
Make them go outside.
to play. Every once in a while, if we're being particularly bad parents, we'll let them watch TV as we're recording. But we try to have that be our last resort.
Yeah.
And as far as when we're playing games, they're usually right here with us. Either you're here in the same room as us, just playing something else, Legos or Barbies or Play-Doh or beating each other up or Nerf guns or whatever it is.
They do this weirdest thing. They're like, fight, and then they just start fighting each other.
Or like our 8-year-old is starting to game more of the, she's playing more of the adult games with us.
Yeah.
At least the family style, family weight games. She wants to join in on those more often. So that's where the kids are when we are doing board game related stuff.
They're just with us.
With us, or
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind.
Oh my gosh. So this is from a question that was asked way early on, but I wanted to mention, and I totally missed it. I just forgot about it. But one of the great things about the fact that we were just slow and we let it be child-led is now we're at a point where all 4 of us can play a game together. Like a game like Ticket to Ride, right? We can all sit down and play that together. Our 4-year-old, we have to point to the dots. She's not going to be able to play competitively in the sense of she's never going to win when all 4 of us are playing together, but she can play. It's kind of nice though, because you always have this weird wild card whenever we play a game with her, because she understands the rules and can do that. So that's one of the great things about just making sure it's child-led, because then eventually they just want to be with, their parents. And so they'll want to be where their parents are doing what their parents are doing.
All right. Our last question of the day. This comes from Scott Brady, our friend from Sam Reviews, also the designer of Hues and Cues and the upcoming Boop. Be sure to check those out. Some really fun games we've had a chance to play.
Boop's gonna be great, guys.
All right. So he asks, if you could go to one and only one convention this year, anywhere in the world, where would it be? You go first. Only one.
NewMeCon.
NewMeCon is the convention that we run, which is just basically a board game getaway where we just game with some friends in a cabin for a couple of days, which is a blast. But for the sake of being able to attend 2 events, then we'll call that not a con. What's another con? What's another convention? The only one and only convention you can go to this year.
I would.
Money's no object. We're rich.
Okay. Gosh, I would just love to go to Essen.
Yeah.
Just to see non-American gamers would be... Honestly, though, it'd be great just to be a part of that environment and to see that. I've heard that the food at Essen is, the best food ever, and I know that's not, the main reason why I'd be going to a board game convention, but
It has to be factored in, though.
Yeah, I mean...
I agree. I would love to go to Essen.
It'd be your people.
Yeah, I hail from Germany. My family does, so I would love to actually go to the motherland or the fatherland or whatever.
Oh my gosh, we could get Springerly.
Springerly from Bavaria. Yes, that's my favorite cookie from my family's recipe. So I would love to go to Germany, go to Essen Spiel. I would love to see. I've heard that all the booths are just way extravagant, crazy decorations and big inflatables and all crazy stuff that they do. I would love to see the spectacle of all that and just see that the sea of gamers checking out all these games and playing all these games I think that would be the coolest one. I've never actually gone overseas either, so for that reason, I would just love that opportunity. I've never been to PAX U. I know that's a newer one, but I've seen so many of our friends online go to it and come back with amazing stories. So I'd love to check that one out. Gen Con's always a blast, and we've missed the past couple of years because of a lot
of world,
the world. But man, I don't think that you can do better than Essen if you only had to choose one, and money was no object.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody, Thank you so much for sending us your questions. It's always a little scary sending out something like this because what if nobody responds?
Or like people ask us like weird stuff.
Yeah, both. So since we did this a year ago, let us know in the comments below any question you would like us to answer in a year.
Or 6 months, maybe we'll do more often.
Yeah,
this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like doing these. They're pretty pretty easy for us, freeform. Not a lot of thought going to it. We just ramble and say weird things now. So that's always great for everybody involved. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. If you want to answer any of the questions that people post to us, also answer those in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Until then, don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us on TikTok, we're Ryan and Bethany. On Facebook, we're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.